Okay, so I did my research project on electric scooter transport, affordable transport. So the problem was that there's a problem with the availability of electric mobility devices. This problem negatively impacted low-income and walking students because they cannot afford a fast and affordable means of transportation. Perhaps a study that investigates a method to manufacture cheap and accessible electric scooters could remedy this situation. So my research question was, what is the best way to make electric scooters available for students on campus? So I assumed that if I brought scooters to campus, people would actually use them. It's significant because in today's world, as we know, the gas prices are rising very quickly, and they're already very high. So a lot of low-income students cannot afford to get to school. Also, students who walk to begin with could utilize this for faster transport and easier transport. My hypothesis is that I believe that developing a cheap electric mode of transportation will allow people to get places they are obligated to be cheap and in a timely manner. I am researching for a method to bring affordable means of electric transportation, especially electric scooters, on campus. And I concluded that the most feasible method to get electric scooters available on campus is to bring a rental service that's already established onto campus. So originally I researched methods to manufacture a cheap electric scooter. Those are my main articles, those are my best articles. It turns out that it's pretty complicated. You need the frame. The frame, turns out, is very expensive to build because of materials and needed resources. And the parts needed are mostly, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't expect to need in the beginning, like a BMS or ESC. Those are battery management system. You need that to charge and use the battery, and then the ESC is for controlling how much electricity is sent towards the motor. So these are the main parts. The scooter frame, it was about $120 for this frame. This motor was about the motor is built inside of this wheel, and it's like $40, I believe. The battery was the most expensive part. It was $145 for the 48 volt, 15 amp hour model, and the ESC was pretty cheap. It was like $5. So my first discovery was that batteries are very expensive and pretty far outside of our budget. Scooter frames are also not available. Partnerships are hard to land because not a lot of companies are trying to talk to high schoolers. And I found that the amount of money that I'm saving by building a scooter is not worth it, and I could just buy one and be better off. So my first limitation in my research was funding. I didn't have enough money to build a scooter. There was not enough data. There was not a lot of data out there on building scooters. The availability of parts. A lot of parts were not available. For example, the scooter frame that I put on here, they were only available with a minimum quantity of 2. Anything else was way too expensive and didn't fit my needs. I also messaged scooter rental companies like Lime and Bird. Neither of them responded, even though we waited months and tried to contact them in many different ways. We emailed them, and actually one of their emails wasn't working, so we had to go through a different email. And also we tried to contact them through LinkedIn, and they didn't answer that either. So further research is needed to find cheap ways to get batteries, make scooter frames, and get in contact with a scooter rental service. That's it.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. A couple of questions regarding the literature. Per your literature, you cited a couple of sources. What was the literature saying about scooter assembly? I'm just curious to know.
I didn't find anything talking about that. That was one of my limitations. There wasn't anything that there wasn't enough research that I could find that was available.
Okay. But what did you find in the research? Because I saw like 2 or 3 sites there, right?
Well, they were referring to and explaining what the parts were and how what they did.
Okay.
One of them talked about how you can build a battery and like what the different names mean, like series, parallel, those kinds of terms. We talked about that, and it talked about what different voltages would give you advantages and the downside.
Okay.
The other one talked about repurposing an old a bike. They turned it into a three-wheeled scooter, bike, a three-wheeled bike, and turned it into electric, I guess. So, yeah.
Okay. If you had to approach the project one more time, let's say, is there anything you would do a little differently now that you know what you know today?
I would probably try harder to get a scooter rental on campus because you could transport some of the rental scooters. I could manually transport them here. Also, I would try to buy used scooters, electric scooters on eBay. If they were broken, I would try to fix them. Or if they were working and they just needed a little bit of fixing up, I'll fix them up and it would be a lot more affordable.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Well done. All right.